Hi, everyone. So my name is Garrett Montero. I'm the team lead for the Downtown Show team. And today I am here to showcase Protoflight, which is an interactive show that combines elements of immersive theater with the latest in real-time rendering technology to create a fun experience for all ages. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to our flight crew. So like I said, my name is Garrett Montero. I'm a fifth-year computer science major at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, concentrating in interactive entertainment, and I am the team lead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Lito. I am a fourth-year mechanical engineering major at UC San Diego, and I worked on the layout and the safety for this attraction.
Hey, I'm Kane. I'm a computer science major with a minor in art. I go to San Diego State.
Oh, Tahara unfortunately was unable to join us today, but we'll have some special surprises with her. She was the creative writer for this attraction.
Hey everyone, my name is Ali Rocha. I am a fifth-year double major at Virginia Tech in Industrial Systems Engineering and Theater Arts, and I was the stage and operations manager for this attraction.
Hi everyone, I'm Amelia and I'm in Carnegie Mellon University, Master of Entertainment Technology, and I'm the sound designer for the team.
Awesome. So for this project, we were tasked with creating a show that takes place inside a UFO. And some of the constraints that we were given included a minimum capacity of 1,000 guests per hour, a duration of 15 to 25 minutes, and a minimum of 8,000 square feet of queue space. Some other unique factors that we had to consider compared to other teams was the fact that our exterior is the icon or weenie of the park. And so I'll touch on that in a little bit. Another factor that we had to consider was accessibility, as we are one of the only attractions that is accessible to pretty much everyone, meeting all ADA standards and generally just a non-thrill attraction. So where we're located directly opposite the entrance of the park across the lake, as you can see by our lovely park map. Because of this, we had to give careful consideration for our exterior, as it's the first thing that guests see as they enter, the park icon, if you will. And additionally, our attraction also closes early to prepare for the nighttime spectacular, which happens along the lakeside. So let's talk about our story. So to give us a little bit more information about Protoflight, with Stargrove News, we have Tahara Agbamuche live on the scene. Can everyone hear?
I don't hear.
Oh.
Are you sharing your screen with sound?
I don't believe I did.
Unshare it and then enable the screen share audio.
Cool. Share.
Propel Industries. On behalf of Stargrove News, my name is Tahara Agbamuche, and I am at Propel headquarters today to bring to you live the opening of their latest spacecraft. Guests have been lining up for hours for the latest Protoflight, Propel's test flight name that they have coined over the years of the Gate Expo. Every year they release their latest craft, and we're all excited to see what is new and improved. Headquarters also received a new facelift, and I'm also here to bring to you our first looks at that today. Welcome to Propel.
Whoops. Cool. So here's our exterior, the weenie of the park, our beautiful concept art that was done by D'Angelo. And here's Sahara to talk a little bit about that.
And without further ado, here is the latest update to Propel Industry Headquarters. This is where guests will enter the building in order to take their protoflight. Their latest craft does away with any kind of keys because their new identification system goes through a scanning process where it can recognize any alien species, human, in the entire galaxy. Before we head inside, I want to show you what it looks like when the sun sets. Propel Industries is ever dynamic, always changing and fluctuating to reflect the mood, and that includes when the sun goes down.
Cool. So next, also with Stargrove News, we have our other news correspondent, Ali Rocha.
Yep. So once you're inside this historic building, we see all the amazing feats of Propel Industries. So while you're waiting for your test flight, just wander through our amazing trophy hall and see one of the many exhibits here within Propel, such as some of our past spaceship models, our first cruiser design, or many other of these amazing exhibits. Once you get a closer look, you could say that it's no wonder Propel is one of the best ship makers here in the entire galaxy.
Cool. So next we have Tahara again to talk about our pre-show.
All right, Stargrove News. I'm coming to you from inside of one of the cabins of the protoflight. This is where guests will embark on their journey and they will meet this year's coveted selection of interns. Every year at the Gay Expo, Propel chooses from a vast amount of applicants just dying for a chance to intern with this company and get a foot in the door in the spacecraft industry. This year, their applicants have been chosen, and they are Miso, Una, and Crofus. Miso is the definition of suave. He's the type of guy that on group projects, he's probably just going to saunter through, write his name on it, and call it quits. I have something that's going on in the control room though, and I get the feeling that he's also going to be the first to leave. Una is shy but witty, and she is always ready for the next big adventure. She's intimidated by her confident peers, but when any kind of conflict strikes, she's ready to spring to action. Crofus is very, very confident and ready to go at all costs. However, when things don't necessarily go the way that they need to go, he doesn't quite know how to manage. Let's move on and see if he does know how to fight that challenge.
Cool. So next, let's talk about our actual show experience. So next we have Kane to talk about that.
Hey, so first you'll enter this pre-show room where you'll meet the interns and they'll explain who Intra is. Intra is an AI that manages the entire ship from autopilot to security, and they further discuss the advanced security system that Tahara mentioned. So if Intra finds an unknown being try to control the ship, it'll actually go into a lockdown mode and let Intra handle the intruders. Once it's safe for Intra to resume the ship actually resets all subsystems for security reasons, and a manual override for each subsystem is required to start the ship. So here you can see this is the pre-show room, and now they're going to enter the bridge where they will be, where the interns will lead them into individual pods. This is a fully interactive demo built in Unity. Originally it had subtitles, but that made the video get a bit long, so yeah. So now Intra is scanning the guests and seeing if they belong here. And unfortunately, the room turns red, which means that Intra doesn't recognize the humans. This is because somebody forgot to actually scan humans and put them into the database since this is the first time humans have been at Gate. Now the humans have to work, the guests have to work together and convince the AI that they belong on the ship. Wait, Garrett, pause it. That's not ready yet, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk a bit more. I'll let you know. So now that they need to convince the AI, in this part of the show, they'll meet Intra, and Intra will show up on the giant screen, and she will be a real-time 3D rendered virtual puppet operated by a cast member / voice actor, similar to kind of like Turtle Talk with Crush. And I think this will be the most comedic part of the show because Intra is not going to understand what a human is, and it's going to be pretty weird. After Intra's convinced that the humans are supposed to be here, she'll enter them into the database, and now the guests will need to activate the menu override for each subsystems, and they'll need to solve interactive puzzles. Garrett,
Yep.
you can show the video now. Yeah, so there's individual control panels that guests will control, each with their own unique puzzle that they need to solve. This is kind of like Smuggler's Run, and there'll be like interactive screens giving feedback. And after that manual override completes, Intro will be able to take control and give you guys a tour around the entire park. Now this system that shows, yeah, so there's a bit more complexity to this part of the ride, so I'll let Amelia talk about it now.
Yeah,
Amelia?
sure. So after the guests like bring the ship back online, they're treated with flyover Star Grove. And then so different routes depending on your own ship, and it will add to rewrite ability. And that's the end of this attraction. And
So yeah, in summary, we have a fully interactive character-driven show with 3 different characters that sort of adds to your rewritability and changes. It's fun for the whole family. It's accessible and engages children, parents, and grandparents. And it utilizes real-time 3D animation, show effects, sound, and interactivity. So next, let's talk about the operations.
All right, so first up is our layout. So for our, excuse me. So for our attractions, basic characteristics, we have 3 showrooms denotated in the image as the circle with little pie slices carved out of them. Those are our actual spaceships that the guests will be inside of. Our throughput, as mentioned before, is 1,000 guests per hour. And also an extra thing in our layout, we have selected certain parts of our building for green rooms for all of our cast and actors, as well as any necessary storage and maintenance for electronic storages, office space, anything you could really need in backstage areas. Our biggest challenge with our layout was figuring out how to evacuate 1,000 guests at one time without making them go further throughout the attraction, making them run into one another, and doing it safely. So after talking with the other people on the safety team, we came up with these operation rules. Our pre-show rooms, which are the dark blue areas, and the respective waiting rooms, the light blue areas, will never host guests at the same time. The waiting areas, light blue, will accept the next group of guests at the earliest when the bridge show sequence started. So that would be the pink areas. The pre-show rooms, also dark blue, will accept the next group of guests at the earliest when the flight sequence in the cabins and the bridge has ended. That way the guests who are leaving the attraction don't run into the guests who are now coming onto the attraction. And lastly, the 3 showrooms will be staggered from each other such that the exit hallways represented in red are only supporting 1 full showroom group of guests. That way they're only evacuating 1 set of people at a time. And then our next slide is our 3D version of our full layout, complete with a setup queue with all of our 3D models and ships. And this was done in SketchUp.
Cool. So next, Amelia is going to talk about the sound design.
yeah, so the sound design process is first finding the resources after we talk about the overall story, and then like finding the more futuristic soundtracks and share it with the groups, and start composing on loop background music. So the attraction includes costume music and also like sound effects. So I keep adding more Foley sound effects and made everything sounds like more electronic feelings. Yeah.
So in terms of our attractions operating hours, we decided to go with a sample 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. This being that we are a show attraction and to not interfere with that times of the nighttime spectacular, because we would then be two competing show times. We also have the cast call time of starting with 9:30 to allow for the cast to come in a little bit early to get into any costumes and makeup and prosthetics if need be. We also calculated some sample expected weekly finances, being that this is a show where are going to need a full cast full of performers who would be not only the characters that we talked about earlier, but they would also be voice actors for the AI character, but also some managers to run the attraction as well. So calculating those with some expected pay rates. And obviously in an ideal situation, we came out with a weekly cost of $9,310 per week at a minimum, with no upper management or sick leave or overtime pay. So this obviously is still can be a little bit high cost, but is expected because we are a show. And we did prioritize this over other costs because we obviously realized that having a cast would be more important. So we decided to pull costs from other expenditures, such as we had the idea of initially of like an elevator for like a special effect or something like that, but we put the money towards having a cast instead.
Cool. So, wrapping up, we'd like to thank the following people for their tremendous help on this project. First, Etienne Saiton for mentoring our team throughout this process. All of the other mentors for providing feedback along the way. It was very helpful. Of course, our management team, Sochi, Mike, Taylor, and Jessica doing the most. Jake Ploker and the Nighttime Spectacular team for working on us with the exterior. Paige Brunson, D'Angelo Reyes for all of her beautiful concept art. And of course, all of you for watching. So thank you very much.